Hello, guys. Welcome to the ARWP podcast, the All Real Wrestling podcast. I'm your co-host Eric Novak, and today we have a special guest. We have the Gravity Renegade, Lucas Riley.
What's going on? What's up, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We have some crazy questions for you. You know, we follow your career for a while. We know what you've been up to. We know what your last matches were, and we want to hear your story. So,
Sweet. Let's do it.
awesome. So let's start with the first question being, how did wrestling come to be? When did you realize wrestling is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
Um, actually for the longest time, I didn't want to be a wrestler. I started watching wrestling, let's say, late 2007, maybe early 2008. And it was just a cool thing, like, amongst my, in my school. Like, everyone would watch it, and it was big. But I never wanted to become a wrestler just because I didn't want to get hurt. And then I just continued to watch it from there, from 2008 to today. And let's say around, 2014 is when I started to get into independent wrestling, more specifically PWG. Mm-hmm. And once I saw that, and I saw I saw Ricochet, the Young Bucks, Kyle O'Reilly, those guys really made me want to become a wrestler. Just everything about it, I loved it. I was like, oh, I want to do this for sure. And that's basically what started it for me.
All right. So let's go for the next question, which is basically your first match, your first in-ring action. Tell us the match if you remember, and the feeling that you had.
For sure. So my first match was so I actually have two first matches. Kind of sounds weird, but the official first match is against Alonzo Alvarez at Santino Bros. We were set to debut and December 17th, 2016, we're both set to debut against each other. However, the day before, I wrestled a lucha show against Drew Nelson, and then the next day was my official debut. That was crazy. I still remember it to this day. I remember walking out of my house damn, okay, we're really gonna do this, and it was crazy. My parents were there. It was just so surreal. The whole moment, I remember it to this day, and it was perfect. I loved it.
That's awesome, man. There's nothing weird in wrestling. When people say it's weird or it's tricky, wrestling has always been out of the ordinary. You never know what can happen in a wrestling ring.
Yeah. I'm just glad that, everything went to plan. Because it was both mine and Alonzo's first match. So, everything went to plan, thankfully. No one got hurt. And I thought it was a great match. I didn't have much complaints about it. And,
Well, I appreciate you telling me that. That's awesome. I get how you felt. It's very the story of your first match is always going to be probably the hardest story to tell because there's so much emotions riding in that. So let's go further from your first match to the fact that you've already wrestled with amazing talented people like Tyler Bateman, RJ Santos, Jake Atlas. You wrestled a lot of people. How does that work? Any match of yours that stick out as your favorite? Because it has to be in the ring and it has to be out the ring. And you definitely made some connections with a lot of other wrestlers, I'm sure.
Okay. So just my favorite match, overall, basically, or my favorite opponent.
Yeah, but either or you can do.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of, I kind of had, a lot of matches with Jake Atlas, but never a one-on-one, which makes me upset. That still needs to happen. That needs to happen. Jake Atlas, one-on-one. We've had a bunch of training matches, never a one-on-one. But Jake Atlas is someone that like always pushed me, and I feel whenever we were wrestling together, it was just magic. Like we would go into training and like just go, and it was always great. Like we've always done something special. But my favorite match would probably, like the first one that stands out is myself versus Andy Brown at Santino Bros Up All Night, and that was a special one. Like Andy Brown is one of the best in SoCal. Not even in SoCal, just overall. Like he's amazing. That is a match that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm very proud of. And after that match, it was a match also, myself, Jake Atlas, versus Alonzo and Andy Brown again. Like, that was another great match at LWP.
Mm-hmm.
And this Andy Brown is just an amazing wrestler, and anytime I get to step into the ring with them, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Can we find these matches on social media? Is it possible?
Yeah, I know for sure the match with myself and Andy Brown is on YouTube, Up All Night. I think even if you just search up Lucas Riley versus Andy Brown, Santino Bros, it's going to show up. And I believe that Lucha match, the tag match, I believe it's on there too. I think I actually uploaded it. So, yeah, if you just
all right,
search that.
All right, it's cool. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I just, for the fans, if we're talking about the matches, it's cool for them to, watch it. I'm pretty sure I know the match you're talking about. Was it? I might be wrong, but there's questions that are going to lead to this match. Is it during the tournament?
So that wasn't during a tournament, but it was a few episodes before the tournament.
Before the tournament.
Yeah, and then that match, in that Up All Night episode, I also had two matches. So yeah, there's that. Another match that I would like to pinpoint that I didn't say is it was me, Douglas James, Eli Everfry, and Matt Vandergriff in a ladder match at Santino Bros at last. That was something crazy. Like, I remember the match got announced as a ladder match, and I was like, oh wow, like I was nervous for that one. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous for that one because you got Eli, you got Doug, you got Vandergriff, and at the ladders, like I knew something, like it was gonna be a car crash, like everything was gonna happen, and that one, like the nerves were there, and it was a big fight feel. The whole show at last was a big fight feel, and going out there, like the adrenaline was kicked in, and it was amazing. Like it was one of my favorites for sure.
All right, that's very interesting. Again, thank you so much for giving me that insight. Because I'm gonna after this interview, I'm about to go watch that match. I always like to find wrestling.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the most interesting thing. You are 21 years of age, right? That's how old you are currently.
Yeah, I just turned 21 March 4th.
Yeah, my birthday is in March 14th, so we're both Pisces, which is pretty cool. But
yeah.
But the question is, it's the point where you verse older, bigger guys. How does that feel come to be? Because you're very, when you go in the ring, I can see a lot of confidence. But I want to know if that's the same way, out of the ring as well, like in the backstage room when you're about to prepare for the matches.
Of course. Well, when I first started at Santino Bros, I was 16 years old. I just turned 16, so I was always surrounded with like guys that are much bigger than me and much older than me. So going into training, like it was just something that I had to like adapt to. Thankfully, Alonzo was also there, he's also my age. So there was that. But for the most part, I was always wrestling guys much bigger than me. So at training, that really prepared me for what was to come for like the actual live shows. And once like I was able to hang like with the guys much bigger than me and older than me, that definitely prepared me for what was to come. Backstage, again, everyone's very welcoming. Like there's really nothing like age is just a number, I guess you could say. And yeah, like everyone's really cool. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's true. I've heard many stories about the fact that in the wrestling, it doesn't matter how old you are. It matters, if you can have the right chemistry with the person. Like if you can understand what the moves are, and if you can understand the plan, it doesn't matter about your age. No one's gonna look at you at that point.
Exactly.
But it's the mentality. It's the mental mentality. Like you coming in to figuring out. All right, it's gonna be a little intense. They're bigger than me. They're definitely older than me. It's like there's definitely all right. Let's get to the one that I feel like you've got asked this a lot if you ever had an interview. So you competed in amazing promotions. You competed in GCW, bar wrestling. Have you competed in FSW? I feel like you have.
Yeah, I've competed at FSW maybe on 2 or 3 different occasions. I know I had a match it was myself, Jake Atlas, me and Jake Atlas, like in a tag team, versus Chris Bay and Nino Black, and yeah, that was in a tag match. And then after that, I went back and I teamed with Ice Williams, and that was in a tag team gauntlet match, and where we went on and we ended up facing the 1%. So there was that one. And then I believe those were the 2 times that I went to FSW. Other than that, it was for like an Impact tryout. So those are the 3 times I went to FSW.
Got it. Because I did remember watching you in FSW, and I just completely, missed my mind. Because I was just, looking back, this is all like I'm just trying to like remember everything. So it's like I knew you wrestled in all these amazing promotions, but where I was going to, because I completely got lopsided. Where I was going to was question you're getting asked a lot. It's probably where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? What promotion would you want a contract in? When it comes to WWE, AEW, ROH, New Japan, even NWA, and Impact, like you mentioned.
Of course. I'm always going to say WWE, and I'm going to say that because that's the end goal. That's always been the end goal. But I'm not, like, obviously I want to get there as quickly as possible, but then again, I'm also not in a rush. I'm here for the ride. If that goes to Japan, I would love to go to Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, MLW. Anywhere I could go, I want to go. And I want the full pro wrestling, the whole ride. So if I get to the end goal, WWE, in 2 years, 1 year, 10 years, I'm here for the ride. And yeah, I'm ready to do this.
So you mentioned that you did Impact tryouts. How did that feel? Because that was like the next step. That was basically So how did that feel?
Yeah, no. That was really cool. I really loved that experience. I got some valuable information from Jimmy Jacobs. I got critiqued by Jimmy Jacobs, which was awesome, and I got to see a lot of talent, for the Impact tryout. And in the tryout, I had a match with Jake Atlas. That was, I guess, the only one-on-one match, but no one really got to see that. And we did really good, and Jake Atlas was actually able to wrestle for Impact after that match. He was chosen, so I'm really happy. I at least had like a small part in that.
Of course.
And yeah, it was really fun. It was a really cool experience doing it also with my friends there, so really cool experience for sure.
I 100% believe in the next, I want to say, 2 years, based on how the independent scene's going, I definitely believe you'll have more, tryout matches, more, I don't want to, sell you down, but it's like, Chris Bay just signed to Impact, and people saw him in WWE on 205 as part of the dark
Of
match.
course.
Like, I definitely see in the next 2 years that companies will look at you and be like, I want to put you on TV. And that's your big break. That's the start of your big break. And I definitely see that happening for you.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Of course. So, there's something that I've been I've been trying to avoid because I wanted to wait, but I just can't wait. Not so long ago you competed in the Up All Night, in the Survivor Night tournament match. Tell me the experience of that event, especially because it was, your debut event, and you broke your leg after that match, right? It was the third match where you won the tournament.
Yeah, so it was the third match that I had where I ended up winning the whole thing, and that was actually a really, really fun experience. I knew at episode 12 of Up All Night, because we film Up All Night every month, once every month. So 12 months in a year. So that was the 1 year anniversary of Up All Night. So I knew it was going to be something special. I knew it was going to be a tournament, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. So going into it, it was really, really cool. Like, it was, again, a big fight field. They had the dressed up with the lights and the streamers and everything. It was really, really special. And to win it all, like, in front of, like, the Santino Bros, like, the family, it was just awesome. Like, one of, if not the best, like, wrestling, like, experience I've had, and definitely very proud of that moment, winning the Up All Night tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I watched it. I rewatched it recently again because it was just such a good show in general. The fact that the whole tournament was just on there from the first match to the last match, and everyone can find it. It's on YouTube. And watching all three of your matches, it's the point where it's like you get tired, but you still had the same flame going in and coming out. And even in the third match, that was against a pretty big guy. And you managed...
Yeah, Ray Romero.
Yeah, and you managed to overcome that, and you managed to win. But I don't think many people knew that you injured yourself during that match, and you still fought through it.
Yeah, so during the night, like, I had my ribs worked a lot throughout that match. But the injury that I'm still, like, recovering from today, it didn't actually come from the third match. It actually came after.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout that night, I was going through like an injury, not as big as the one I'm going through right now. It was the ribs, really. But I was still able to fight through. All those matches I had on Up All Night were really, really fun and special in each, like, different way. But after that tournament, like, from the highest of highs, after that, I was sidelined with an ankle injury, which I'm going through right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope you have a speedy recovery. Obviously, we want to see you back in the ring. I remember. It's fun. It's a really funny story because I watch independent scene like a hawk. That's my favorite wrestling, is in the independent scene, because that's where the real true blood, guts, everything is there. That's where the heart and soul really is. Not in company TV. It's just a different aspect. I went to a lot of promotion events, and then I went to independent events, and I just saw completely different scenery, completely different visual perspective on it. So I kind of awoke from that. So I remember I'm sitting and I'm doing some kind of work, and I get a text from my friend. You might know him. His name is Trevor Brooks. I'm just giving him a shout out.
Oh, yes.
He texts me and he says, yo, you have to watch this match. I'm like, man, I'm busy. No, he's like, no, you have to see this. He showed me the picture of you winning the tournament. He's like, man, you have to look at this guy. You have to see his work. A couple hours later, I did that, and I messaged him like, Trev, you're not wrong, man. This kid's insane. I still remember. I just want to give him a shout out for that, because he is a huge reason how I found you and was like just automatically the same way he was. Just
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So the Up All Night tournament was the Survive the Night tournament was like the first body of work that you saw of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad because I'm very proud of that night.
No, yeah, you should be. That match was insane. Like I rewatched it recently with a whole bunch of wrestling because I'm trying to influence a lot of wrestling fans who are just WWE fans. I want to open them up to the actual source of PWG and like you said, Ricochet, the Young Bucks, all that before WWE.
Yeah.
Where you came from.
Of course.
And like I said,
Yeah.
you were a complete spark. You're high talent. You already have merch. And speaking of merch, you have an awesome Gravity Lucas Riley shirt on the bottom. It's Renegade. Tell us how that happened. Tell us how the idea of the show was created.
The Gravity Renegade moniker.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I've always had. So I have this thing on my notes on my phone, and it's just ideas of either moves, monikers, just anything wrestling related. I have it in my notes to try, and I knew I wanted to put out like some form of merch because I was when my merch finally like launched, I was getting some questions like, "Hey, are you ever gonna have a T-shirt out? Are you ever gonna have this out? Whatever." And I was like, okay. So once I was going to launch it, I was like, okay, I should probably launch maybe a moniker to go with that. And that was the Gravity Renegade. The way that came about is I was listening to the song Renegade of Funk, I believe, by, what is it? What is it? I can't think of it right now, but the song is called Renegade the Funk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to that, and I was like, what does even, like, Renegade even mean? So I looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And I put that in the notes, Renegade. And I mixed, my style in the ring, the, aerial kind of style, I guess, the high-flying style.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I put Gravity Renegade together. And, that was basically it.
That's awesome.
That's how that came about, yeah.
That's awesome, but, you have your own, introduction, that's it's never been used before. Okay, so let's get to gear. I am really interested in how your gear got made, like the designs, the gold, the white, like, do you design your own gear, or is it like, people who, like, help you make gear?
So, I like the logos and the design, like I that's on me. I've got the what am I trying to say here? How I came up with that design, I actually came up with it playing WWE 2K. Like I would always create my own. I would always create my own character, my own wrestler on the video game WWE 2K. So actually, that design is from the video game. I would always play as myself. Like even before I was a wrestler, I created like gear, and that's how my gear looked on my guy, on the character I would create. So that gear that I wore, like in the video games, I just made it in real life.
That's great. That's awesome.
As far as like yeah, so and as far as like the colors go, and like the different designs and stuff, I always try to like find like the most unique designs possible to put on gear because I really want to, stand out. Before I debuted, Eli Everfly, he told me like, don't get like black gear, don't get generic gear, because I was gonna buy like gear from online that was already pre-made, like from elucha.com, that like, it's already pre-made. He was like, no, you have to get custom gear. So I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with Los Luchas.
Of course.
They're an amazing tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they hooked me up with their gear maker in Los Angeles, and I took to him what I wanted. I showed him like the pictures of my video game character, and he made it like come to life. So
that's awesome.
Forever grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I play. I started playing 2K from the 2K16, and I still have a
Uh,
19. I didn't buy 2K20, but I know exactly what you mean. One of my favorite things is community creation, just working with gear.
yeah,
That's awesome. So you basically had, in our modern day, the Spider-Man kind of story where you basically drew your own designs for your own gear, which is pretty cool.
yeah. Basically, yeah. I mean, I've always drawn gear like oh, if I was a wrestler, I would be wearing this. But like for the most part, it's always been like what you see like on me today. That's usually been like the look that I've always drawn out in my head.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's very, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Again, it's cool that you have a vision like that. Some wrestlers do get their gear made from like what people tell them to do. So it's cool that you have your own take. When you put on your gear, you're like, I made
Yeah,
this, one of a kind. So
of
let's talk.
course.
So let's talk about five wrestlers. I want to go with number five. I feel like it's a good number. Five wrestlers that really influenced you to being a wrestler, or just any like experience or anything like that. Like five
Yeah. Okay.
wrestlers that gave you
Huh.
the chance to become a wrestler.
Hmm. Okay. Let me. I would. So I'm just gonna say from the top of my head, for sure, Roderick Strong. Uh, Someone that I always, loved like watching on the independent scene. Someone that really made me want to become a wrestler. Roderick Strong.
I gotta ask. I don't want to cut you
Um,
off. I don't want to cut you off, but I gotta ask because I'm a huge independent person. I have to know: was it PWG Roderick Strong? Was it ROH Roderick Strong? What kind of Roderick Strong was it for you?
for me, it was PWG for sure.
Got it.
PWG.
Got it.
Yeah, Roderick Strong and PWG were golden.
No, yeah, he
Yeah.
was
So
breaking backs. He was straight up
yeah, for
breaking
sure.
backs.
Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely Roderick Strong. Uh, Ricochet for sure.
Was it
I'm
also
gonna throw in.
PWG Ricochet? Was it just the PWG version, or
Yeah,
was
for
it
the
like
most
New
part, it was just
Japan?
yeah, for the most part, it was PWG. But I would watch New Japan, like when he was in New Japan. Like I would always watch Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like full time like New Japan like watcher, but for the big shows, I would definitely make sure I'd watch. So yeah, just Ricochet in general, like he was big influence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Edge for sure. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, without a doubt. Edge, just again like favorite wrestler of all time. When I first started watching wrestling, the first actually wrestling show that I watched is when Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank on Undertaker, and I was like, damn, this is dope. So yeah, definitely Edge. We have to throw Edge in there.
Of course.
Um, I'm gonna say John Cena, and John Cena is a big influence to me for wrestling in general, and that's because of he's actually the person that like really got me into wrestling, because I was at a not only was it already like popular at school, but when I was little, I was at a car show with my dad, and they had a little booth of like wrestling figures,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a big wrestling figure kind of guy.
You are.
Ever since I
That's
was
that's really
yeah,
cool.
ever since I was little to this day,
That's really
and
awesome.
yeah, I saw a John Cena figure, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I want that, and I got it, and I was like the first like wrestling figure that I got, and I was like, this is my favorite wrestler, because that was basically the only wrestler I knew at the time, and the last one, I'm gonna go with a two-way tie, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. Again, two like really big influences on me. Rey Mysterio always came out with like incredible stuff. Like I, even to this day, like I watch Rey Mysterio and I'm like, whoa, like this is legit. Like I want to try this. Like like so much. Like there's so much stuff that you could watch of Rey Mysterio, and he's still gonna pull something out new. And Eddie Guerrero, just how fluid he was in the ring, like he's 100% one of the greatest of all time. If not the greatest of all time. Like Eddie is just insanely smooth in the ring. So yeah.
All right, well that's awesome. That's really cool because all those wrestlers, deserve to have a spot. Like Edge was, I feel like my favorite rivalries were with Edge involved. Cena was obviously the mascot, and for WWE just as much as Rey Mysterio was, and of course Eddie, was always a legend and will always be a legend to everyone's eyes. But the whole point was Ricochet and Strong. That's all. Straight from the bottom of the barrel to the spotlight where they are now, which is really cool that those were guys that you followed. All right. Well, that is all our questions. Tell people where they can find you on social media.
So on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Lucas Riley 099 because Lucas Riley 99 is already taken. So Lucas Riley 099. That's both Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, Lucas Riley. You could shoot me a message there. I'll more than likely respond. On YouTube, Lucas Riley. Go ahead and subscribe. And I think that's all the plugs I got.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to tonight's amazing interview. We'll see you guys next time. This is the ARWP podcast.